away.
All right, thank you, Ross. Good morning, everybody. Well, we're happy to be back home. First of all, been obviously on the road these couple weeks, and two tough, hard-fought wins, and now we get to come back here in the Valley, and a lot going on these next couple weeks. This week is a celebration for us of our seniors. Number one, we've got a great group of seniors that are kind of winding their career down here with their home schedule, and we'll take this week and really celebrate them individually, and then next week they just kind of come down the hill as a group for their last game. But military appreciation, and all Clemson people know how important that is to our university, and honestly, I don't think anybody does it better. I mean, it's just it's one of my favorite days of the year, every single year. All that goes into it, and just honoring our military, their service, and also the heritage that we have here at Clemson. So special time, with a lot to celebrate on that front. And then got a good Citadel team coming in here that's won 3 out of their last 4. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Got a lot of respect for Coach Drayton and Citadel, just their university, their program. I actually had a chance a couple years ago to go and speak to all the cadets. That's really one of the coolest things I've had a chance to do. Spoke to all their cadets out on the quad, or whatever they call it there, where they gather in the formation, and that was really cool. And I got a chance to go and tour all the facilities and spend some time with Coach Drayton and his staff. And in fact, they gave me a really nice ball, and I've got in my office, I've got a sword. I guess it's called a sword or saber, whatever you call it. I mean, it's legit too. So that's my weapon in my office. But they've done a nice job. I mean, they're changing their identity as far as, when you think about the Citadel, you think about, at least for me, all my years, you think about triple option football, and, it's different. They still have some option principles, but they're throwing the ball around. They got a lot of zone read and some RPO stuff and different things that they do within their offense, which is different from what we saw last time we played them. But man, they play hard, and I think the other thing is this is their last game. This is it for them. So when you look across their personnel on both sides, and they're too deep, they got a lot of graduates, got a lot of seniors, and so this isn't a game where hey, they got a game next week and they've got to be smart with some guys. This is a game where they got really nothing to lose. So you expect probably every trick in the book that you can think of. So we've got to be ready. We've got to go and play with a lot of precision. And really the focus for us is, it's never really who we play. It's always about how we play, and that's really what we're focused on is just trying to put all 3 phases together, try to play our best football, down the stretch here in these last, 12, 13 days, whatever we got left, and see if we can have a great finish, because that's really what it's all about. We've had a really good year, but we want to finish with a great year, and we've got an opportunity to do that if we can finish the right way. So, guys are got a lot of wind in their sails, especially coming off a win like that, really special moment, and excited to get back out there this weekend. And again, it's always a lot of fun to as we go through this week with all the stuff that happens as we celebrate our military heritage here. And we have a lot of military families on our team. A lot of our families have had time in the military, so we'll take a little time to honor that, as well as some opportunity to show appreciation for our seniors and this great group of guys. Man, it's a special group, and excited to see them finish well. With that, I'll take your questions.
Way back in the day when Coach Drayton was at Coastal, he brought Montrell here.
Yeah, his son. Yeah.
Do you remember that? And,
oh, yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
Yeah, just, you get a lot of times you get staffs that'll come up, and I believe Coach Bennett was the coach at the time, and another that's a good Clemson man right there. But yeah, his son, was obviously a lot younger and has had some heart issues, and it was just, he brought him along. It was one of his things. We wanted to, really show him a good time and make it a special time for him. And Coach, when I was down there a couple of years ago, he reminded me of that time. So, he's a good man. He's a heck of a coach, and got a great family. He's a great father, and Montrell is I think he's a Clemson fan. So I probably can't be this weekend, but hopefully he will be after that.
Dabo, do you think moving Peter inside sort of helped free up TJ and Jaheim and made the matchups better for them just by nature of how much attention Peter draws?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with how TJ played. I think TJ, he won his matchup regardless of who is playing inside. I mean, he played his best game of the year, and it was just awesome to see. I think the biggest thing is, again, with K-Part out, you're just trying to get your best people on the field, but the other thing is, as we've seen, I mean, this is game, we're 8-2, played 10 games, and you want to see guys develop, and we've seen that with our ends. We weren't there at the beginning of the season. We just weren't. And again, you want to put your best guys out there, and if you go back and you look at, the start of our season, they played pretty good up front early. And, obviously Peter's missed some time, and we've had some guys in and out of the lineup, but Peyton's been incredibly steady for us all year. But I just think the improvement of our ends, I mean, they've made the improvement. That's what you want to see. They're a lot of young sophomores. Hoffler didn't hardly have any experience. He's really improved. Jaheim had just a little as a redshirt freshman, now as a redshirt sophomore. Now he's just gotten better. Those guys have really taken a step. Armand had never played, and now he's carved out a little bit of a role for us. And so and then Denhoff is, we knew he'd be a very steady guy for us, and he's been that. So we've just been able to build some more depth there to where we can, trust those guys to get the job done. And that's what frees up, Peter to be able to play what his natural position is. I mean, we recruited him to be a D tackle, but like I said, he can play anything. Just no different than Christian. Christian was a D tackle, and he plays D tackle, but he played a good bit of end too. So you're just always trying to get your best people on the field. But this past game, that's all T.J. Parker, 1,000%. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody but T.J. Parker, and his will, his effort, his preparation, his relentlessness, his technique. Coach Rump's done a great job with him and helping him come along. So it was an awesome performance, and again, he's still a young player, and he's still growing into what his potential is and what he can be. So good to see him have a moment like that and playing again his best football down the stretch here. And I'd say the same thing just for our defensive line as a whole. As awful as we were in the Louisville game, they've really, I mean, they've played well these past 2 weeks, and it's good to see those guys step up.
What has it been from Jaheim's game specifically that has allowed him to stay on the field and really grow this season? Yeah,
he's gone from just a third down player to where he can play first and second down. He understands the run fits. He understands, more about what's going on offensively. He's bigger, stronger, and he can hold up physically as opposed to where he was, certainly last year. But just his knowledge and his confidence, that's the main thing, and that comes with experience. And so he's been able to do that, and now he's become a guy that we can play every down. And I think Hoffler is right there. Jaheim's got a little more experience than Hoff. Hoffler's a true sophomore, but physically, he's a pretty special talent. But still gaining the knowledge and the experience to really trust him every down.
Citadel may not be all option, but they still are kind of methodical, kind of down the field offense. What do you see out of them, that quarterback?
Yeah, well, they do a lot of, they're a bunch of personnel. They're 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21 personnel, They mix it up and use their people very well. But it's all about the quarterback. I mean, he's still the leading rusher, and they got two really good backs, 27 and 42. I mean, they both really good players. It was a big win at Wofford last week. But the biggest thing is they just have more of a throwing game, than what they've had in the past. We anticipate, especially we're bigger than them up front, so I would anticipate they probably will not block us at times. They'll probably read us. So, and expect to maybe see a little bit more option principle against us than maybe they've shown in their season. They still have it, but it's not just triple option, like it once was. So, but I think in our game, their last game of the season, we'll probably see a little bit more just by nature of, the matchup up front. But good receivers. I mean, they got good players. They spread the ball out. I mean, Zero is kind of their guy as far as a guy that they're going to try to get the ball to in a lot of different ways. I mean, he's got 29 catches. 7's got 24 catches. 88's got 16. Number 5 is a big long kid that they try to stretch the ball down the field to. He's their shot guy. So, I mean, they're a balanced offense and really have committed to a different style of play. And you see that, and I'm sure as they continue that trend, they'll keep recruiting the personnel that they want to do it. But I'm impressed with this quarterback. He's a good player. I mean, he's tough. He's smart. You can tell he understands their system and what they're asking him to do. And he's made some big throws. The receivers have made some big catches. And defensively, they get after you. I mean, they're a multiple. They're more multiple than you expected them to be. When you start watching the tape, but they do a really good job up front. They're in and out of even and odd fronts. They'll get up and challenge you at the line of scrimmage. So this is a well-coached team. That's where they're supposed to be. And again, you can see their confidence, as the latter part of the season, again, winning 3 out of the last 4. I mean, beating Sanford is a really good win. Going to Wofford that's a rivalry game and a big win for them. So they're playing with a lot of confidence, down the stretch.
Talk about how there are not a lot of guys who have to leave after this year. How do you kind of put together a senior day list with all that ability and stuff, and how do you kind of go through this conversation with guys?
It's very simple. Like, first of all, you know who definitely has to leave, so that makes it easy. And then basically anybody that's a fourth year, that if you're not coming back, like we have to cut a lot of guys this year. We have a lot. It's terrible. It's the worst thing in my whole coaching career in what's going on. But we've got to cut a bunch of kids that have been in our program. So I've given all of them an option. If they are, a fourth year, then they have the option to be honored as a senior. They've earned that. And some of these kids would be back for their 5th year next year, and they're not going to have the opportunity to do that. And that's sad, but that's the way it is. So we've given them an opportunity. Those kids that if you're graduating in December or May, you can be honored as a senior if you want to. And then you always have some guys that aren't sure. Like Christian Wilkins milked everything he could get out of this thing. I mean, he did 2 banquets. 2 senior banquets, 2 senior days, 2 run down the hill. He got it all. So you have some guys who really don't know. And it's senior day, and they're not really sure. You're still playing your season, and we're gonna have a postseason as well. And some of these guys don't know, but yet they don't want to miss a moment, to be honored as a senior, if they're not sure they're coming back. And I'm not talking about the portal. I'm talking about going pro. You've got some guys that have to make a decision. They're maybe not sure. And so you deal with that from time to time. So you just give them the option, hey, you want to go ahead and do it, and you can decide later. And we've had several guys do that over the years. Walker Parks is a perfect example. He's not doing senior day because he knows he's coming back. So he's not going to do it. He knows. So you got some of those. So we'll see who runs down the hill. But yeah, it'll be a pretty big group, just because we got a lot of walk-on guys that know that this is going to be their last opportunity, and they deserve it.
You kind of made it sound Sunday like, we're going to throw what we can out there on the offensive line. Do you have any updates there? And then,
Yeah.
Would you consider?
Yeah, I think we got 9 guys out for practice today. So we're just trying to figure out how to practice today. So it's going to be interesting.
Both Ronan, I think, and Mason have 3 games. I mean, are they?
No, they have 1 game.
Or, well, yeah. I mean, they played 3.
Yeah. Oh,
so
played 3. Yeah.
So would you consider them or?
Well, we consider everything, absolutely. Yep. We definitely consider that. You know, Ronan's been starting on us at field goal, and so, you know, he's a guy that we may have to use, and then, you know, we'll have to figure it out next week. And then, you know, Mason is a guy that we'd like to hold if we can, you know, with our situation, because, I mean, he could help us win the game, you know, next week. And, you know, you don't want to, you know, waste a year, you know, so, but you got to do what you got to do to win the game you're playing. So, I mean, we got what we got. We got to make it work. You're going to see some, you know, we got guys like Will Boggs. Y'all going to be looking up in your media guide, trying to figure out, you're going to see some guys maybe playing out of position, but we got to find a way. Got to do what we got to do to get it done. And hopefully, you know, again, we got some guys trending in a good direction, but as we sit right now on Tuesday, we're trying to figure out how we're going to practice today.
And is that 9 OL that's out?
9 OL. Yeah. So, and obviously we lost, you know, Dietrich's been out for a while. Watson we lost at the beginning of the year. Ian Reed we lost at the beginning of the year. And, you know, we've been pretty good. We've actually been pretty lucky, but we just kind of hit a little rough patch with the situation, obviously, with Tristan and Marcus, and then boom, Elijah, you know, worst case scenario happened. So, and Sadler, you know, Sadler really probably has hurt us more than anything, because Sadler can play everywhere and he's such a good player. So, I mean, it's been a tough deal, but hey, we'll figure it out. That's what we got to do. We got no excuses. We got to find a way to make it work. So, Chat Pendergrass, we got some walk-on guys that are going to have to come through for us, and then again we got some guys that are going to have to maybe play out of position, and trying to get everybody healthy. Stellato's out too. He's done for the year. He's torn his thumb and got to have surgery on it on Thursday, so he's going to be done. So tough break, you know, there as well, but we're just one day at a time. We're day to day. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to practice today. If we can get through today, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
So with